Let me bring in Tom Fitton. He is the president of Judicial Watch. Tom Fitton now with me with reaction. Tom, thanks very much for joining the conversation. Give us your reaction to this pardon.
Well, it does complete the arc of corruption in the Biden family, doesn't it? This has been years in the making. President Biden in his pardon notes essentially the potential criminal activity goes back at least a decade. What he doesn't note that he's been implicated in a lot of what Hunter has been investigated for. And he talks about selective prosecution in the pardon statement, or the statement attached to the official pardon. And the only selective prosecution was the decision not to select him for prosecution. So this is a scam and a scheme, and he gusses it up in issues of family and addiction. Look, his family was shaking down foreign governments and entities that they were doing business with, and now he thinks, I suspect, he's protected by taking care of Hunter's criminal sentencing or jail sentencing. But I frankly think an honest Justice Department is still going to have to pursue what Joe did.
Well, yeah, we'll see about that, because it's interesting that the pardon goes back to 2014, which, as Cheryl just noted, is the year that he joins the board of Burisma, starts taking down millions of dollars for the, following several years by just being on the board, even though he had absolutely no knowledge of the energy space, and he's on the board of Burisma. And my last guest, Warren Davidson, just said that he thinks that Joe is going to pardon more family members to further complicate and insulate himself from all of this. Is that what you expect too?
Well, his brother obviously has been implicated. He himself has been implicated. I don't know if he can pardon himself technically. What I think is interesting about this pardon is how broad it is. And typically pardons are for specific offenses. This person's been charged with X or convicted of Y, and they're being pardoned, their sentences commuted, et cetera. Right. To have this broad pardon is constitutionally suspect. And I'm wondering if there's going to be a challenge to that, because the idea that you pardon folks for crimes known and unknown doesn't comport with our justice system. But of course, it's the Biden way, right? And he's just going to try to power his way through, just as he's done. And I want to know what Garland's going to do about this. Is he going to resign? Because Biden essentially just said that the Justice Department's prosecution of Hunter is corrupted and selective. If Garland has any backbone, he would resign right now.
Well, I spoke with James Comer yesterday. We were talking about this pardon after the news broke. And I said to him, does the Biden pardon exonerate Hunter Biden from money laundering? Because that's the words that the Oversight Committee has used, money laundering and influence peddling. And James Comer said this to me: everything from 2014 to today, even crimes he has yet to be charged with. So this is such a blanket pardon. It just to speak to what you just said, it's a total blanket pardon for potential crimes that could be served in the coming couple of years or in the coming year, to everything back to 2014. Tom, and then we asked the question about Donald Trump. I mean, what do you think the average person is thinking right now, given the fact that all of this goes away for Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, and yet Donald Trump has been indicted 89 times. And, Fani Willis still won't let go of hers.
Yeah, they've got, an aggressive use of the Justice Department to target pro-life protesters, the January 6th defendants. President Trump has raised that issue. It seems to me if Biden's going to play the game that when the Justice Department prosecutes people that you were friendly with and allied with, you can just presume it was for selective reasons if you're president. And I think that's the conclusion that Trump can fairly draw, because it's actually factual in his case, that the January 6th defendants, obviously there were crimes associated with January 6th, but the whole prosecution was bound up in a political effort to target and smear Trump and his opponents and his supporters. To me, this further indicates that there's going to likely be a mass pardon of January 6ers.
You think we're going to get a mass pardon of January 6th from President Trump?
Oh, I think each and every one of those defendants should be considered for pardon, if not outright pardon,
Yeah,
initially when he comes in.
Especially now, after what we're seeing is happening with Hunter Biden. Yeah, Tom, we'll see about that. Thanks very much. Great to talk with you, Tom Fitton. Always a wealth of knowledge. Thank you, sir.